Trump administration says it's going to hit Russia with new sanctions as a way to punish the country over the assassination attempt of former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter were poisoned by a nerve agent in March in the British city of Salisbury. CBS News State Department reporter Kylie Atwood is tracking this story from our Washington bureau. Kylie, good to see you. What do we know about these new sanctions?
So most importantly, these sanctions are going to deny Russian state-owned or state-funded enterprises from being able to import any national security-sensitive goods or technologies that originate here in the U.S. They won't be able to import things like U.S. weapons or technology, which is a huge thing for them. But what's the economic impact really going to be? Well, that's yet to be determined. A State Department official told some reporters on a phone call today that the economic impact could reach hundreds of millions of dollars and impact 70% of the Russian economy. But that is going to be determined on what Russia requests to be imported from the U.S. And we don't know what that's going to look like. But there could be a second round of sanctions 90 days from this round that would be even more crippling for the Russian economy and for U.S.-Russia relations.
So way back in March, the administration kicked out some Russian diplomats over this attack. They didn't announce the sanctions at that point, only doing it today. Why now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, as you said, this happened all the way back in March. Now we are in August, and members of Congress had asked the White House, they'd written them letters saying, you need to make a determination if this poisoning was in violation of U.S. law. The White House, the State Department, didn't come to that determination until just today. The House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Ed Royce had to write them a second letter at the end of July, pressing them to make a determination here and to apply sanctions if this poisoning was, as I said, violating U.S. law. They made that determination today, and State Department officials pointed out, however, that this was a very complex process that they had to go through. One official said it was a complicated piece of moving equipment, and the determination today shows that the Trump administration is faithfully acting in accordance with U.S. law and implementing sanctions where they're needed.
Okay, so we and the Brits blame Russia for this attack. What did the Russians say?
Denial. They've been denying this time and time again. And so that's what's going to make from here until the next potential round of sanctions in 90 days pretty tricky, because the U.S. has laid out three things that Russians have to do if they don't want to be subject to another round of sanctions. They must no longer use chemical or biological weapons, provide assurances that they aren't going to do so in the future, and agree to on-site inspections from the UN, essentially meaning that the Russians are going to have to admit that they were the ones behind this original chemical weapons use against this former Russian agent in the UK. That's not something that is very likely to do based on what they've been saying in the past.
Okay. Kylie Atwood, thanks so much.
Thanks.